attend, right?
Sir.
Last class you didn't attend.
Yes, sir.
So as assignment we said you have to tell us a joke.
Yes, sir. The joke is I attended today's class on time, sir.
Is that a joke? No, none of them now was laugh. Hey guys, please unmute for some time so we'll know your reaction. Okay, next one.
I have. Sir, I didn't prepare any joke.
Sorry?
I didn't prepare for it.
You didn't prepare. Okay. So you'll get another assignment then if you didn't prepare. Okay, okay,
Sir,
fine. Fine, that's okay, right? It's okay. It's okay. Let's leave people. So is anyone else want to tell a joke? I'm not prepared for brain teasers or Steve Jobs or anything. So I was running out of time today. So does anyone else want to share a joke? Just humorous. Anything humor. Without offending anyone, actually. Let's be careful. You tell jokes. Don't offend other people's sentiments. So no religion and no nothing, right? So tell something should be plain jokes as a humor. So anyone else? Or a quiz, just ask any question, right? Anyone else ask any question? Very bad crowd. So let's talk
No,
something.
sir.
Tell us
Uh,
something. Tell us something interesting which happened today. Just one
Interesting.
fact. Yeah, let's
Sir,
go
some
around.
joke.
Yeah, let's start with
Sir,
Pawan.
sorry.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Uh, Sir, one husband is say, or one another third person is saying, my wife died yesterday, sir. He's saying that I am trying to cry, but tears are not coming out. What to do?
Okay.
So what will the other person say, sir?
I don't know.
Do you get what the other person says? My wife died yesterday. I'm trying to cry, but tears are not coming. What to do?
Marry again.
Imagine what the other person say. The answer. Can anyone guess the answer, sir?
Last year, she died on the same day on last year.
But he said yesterday, right?
My wife died yesterday. I'm trying to cry, but tears are not coming. What to do?
Maybe his neighbor's wife died, not his wife.
No, sir. He's saying that just imagine she came back.
Okay, that's why he's not crying.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
good one. So anyone else? Anything funny, right? You want to tell, why not joke? Something funny or something very different. You something you didn't anticipate it happened yesterday or today. Sometimes unexpected things happen actually, right? So there are a couple of things I want to tell. Something unexpected things happen sometimes, right? So I can tell. So anyone else want to share anything? Anything funny also is fine. In your real life, so you would have found something funny, right? You would say it's funny, you laugh at it, right? So is there anything like that you want to share? No? Okay, so let me ask you this, right? So with this yeah, different things. Pardon? Hello? Okay, think about it. If you think anything funny anytime in the class, you can tell. You want me to talk about ex-boss? So what do you want to know about your ex-boss? Ask me some questions, I'll answer.
Oh, you were telling you were going to tell something on yesterday. You didn't say anything.
Yeah, so I'm just thinking, well, I don't know what context, what should it tell? Four is last actually. I don't know. There are so many things to tell. I don't know what to tell
Oh,
actually.
you were talking about that person in Inter and suddenly you got your ex-boss's name.
Yeah, but yeah, so I don't know what to tell now actually, right? So there should be some connection actually, right? So let's talk about something funny, something you want to share. Okay, so let me tell. Let this one. I want to announce. I was talking to a friend of mine. Like we are trying to run webinar, right? I think did I tell you anything about a webinar we're planning to do? So sometime September first week, we are planning to do a series of webinars, 8 to 10 webinars. Maybe the first class I told you, right? So these webinars are being done by all the top companies. So which are the top companies in like chip design? Can you tell any 5 companies name? No, usually you cannot tell. So other guys in the call, right? So tell me 5 company names which are well known as multinational companies in the chip design. Yeah, Sriram.
Anyone can answer.
Pardon?
Anyone can answer, sir.
Hey guys, voice is breaking. I cannot hear.
Sir, am I audible now, sir?
Yeah.
Chip making companies are Intel,
Intel,
AMD,
AMD,
Qualcomm,
Qualcomm. Yeah, let's give chance to others.
MediaTek.
Enough. Let's ask other people to tell. 2 more names.
Sir, may I say, sir, as you told yesterday, TSMC, sir.
TSMC, very good. Okay.
I know that only, sir, because you told I researched something on that. Sir.
Okay, very good. Okay. One more company name.
Sir, I know only one, sir.
Yeah, what's that? Okay, anybody else? Sriram, Yogesh, Yogesh, you should be able to tell.
I only know Intel and AMD.
You won't know. Okay, no problem. Yeah. Apple, Samsung. You're all Apple has their own design house, right? Apple, they design their own CPU.
Yes.
ARM. I told about a company called ARM, right? Okay, so what we are going to we are going to all the big companies. We'll have to come them come and present about 1 hour webinars. They'll talk on one of the technical topics of the VLSI. And then we'll all the colleges in India. We are trying to work through IEEE. You all know who is IEEE, right?
Yes,
Do you all know who is IEEE? So IEEE. So myself, one of my friend, and all that. So and along with IEEE, we are going to approach all the top companies, 8 or 10 of them, and we are also going to approach to most of the colleges in India, right? So and then we are going to tell, boss, all the industry guys are coming and addressing all the students, in all the various. This is all very basic, like entry level, like introduction to VLSI kind of thing, all the aspects, right? We are going to tell the colleges. If you give some amount of money and appropriate people can come, it's like a conference, right? We're trying to run like a conference. So, for example, if you give me some amount of money, some students can come, like that. Some slabs will be there, right? Like a donation. So they're going to donate to NGO to support all the COVID victims. So we'll support a social cause, right? So we'll try and do something like that, right? And colleges will have to pay some money, right? So something like if one student have to donate like 50 rupees per session kind of a thing, right? So we'll have to, so 500 rupees somebody spends, like no, probably you can attend 10 sessions. So all the money, like nobody gets the money goes to the NGO. So that is a concept. Okay, so we want to come with a name for this webinar. So somebody can next 2-3 hours, like you'll get like before 8 p.m. today, in another 5 hours, you can tell you what is a nice name for this webinar. It should be having some abbreviation. If you expand the abbreviation, now you should get a nice name. Should be very catchy, right? So if somebody want to come with that before 8 p.m. today, I'll give you 1,000 rupees worth of gift voucher in Amazon or Flipkart, whatever it is. Amazon, probably let's assume Amazon. Okay, do you understand the concept? Hello, should I repeat?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so what we'll do is, myself and a friend of mine, so we are working together on a new initiative, right? So we are working along with IEEE. IEEE is like one of the student lot of activities going on IEEE, right? So we work with them, and we are going to connect it's called campus to corporate. This is one name we have thought about. It's called campus to corporate, but that is not catchy enough, right? So from campus is college, right? From college we go to campus. Corporate is industry, right? When you go from your college to industry, there's so much of difference in the culture and the way you work, a lot of knowledge. You have exams in corporate. There is no exams in the industry, right? So that's what we are trying to do. I'm trying to do things practically, right? Because industry, everything is practical. In college, everything is theory, right? It's very different, right? So it's like, no, you're speaking Tamil, but next month you're put into Pakistan, they all talk only in Urdu, then you'll touch so much of cultural difference, right? You won't even understand any single word. It's like Greek and Latin you say sometimes, right? So like that, right? So we'll get all the big industry leaders, and they will address all the students, right? And whatever money we, either students or colleges pay money, right? Whatever we decide, right? And whatever money we raise in this process, that goes to NGO, right? So it will happen for about 8 or 10 webinars. It will happen over a period of 1 month, right? So I would like you to recommend me a name, some abbreviation followed by some name, right? So you have to explain.
Sir, could you?
I'll give a hint. COVID. V has a VLSI, right? So find COVID, what comes actually, right? So think about it. I'm giving an example. So you have to tell something just catchy, and we should be using it. Then only you'll get the gift. Just because you tell a name, you won't get the gift, right? So you should tell a name, and if you like it, we use it for this program, then you'll get the gift. Right? So
Sir, what is the concept?
What is that?
Concept you are going to present, sir?
Concept is all the VLSI design. There are so many areas in VLSI design. I explained the making of a SOC, right? There are so many fields inside the VLSI. It's very huge. So we'll pick up each one of them, and we'll talk about the details.
Okay, sir.
So we are addressing the third year students, fourth year students, and masters. Basically all electronics and computer science streams, basically. Okay. It's like basically introducing the VLSI, what are the various opportunities, what are the companies, and what is the expectation of the company from the students when they join, what the companies would expect the student to be. Okay. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you have 5 hours, like actually 8:15, it's 3:15 now, right? So another 5 hours, I need to get an email. So if somebody gets a good name and we select that, we get a 1,000 rupees worth of Amazon voucher. Okay. So it should be very innovative and creative. Let me tell, don't tell like ordinary names. So it should be very creative, and it should really suit the mood of the conference. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, let's get going. Yeah. So hope you can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there are two concepts. We already take 20 minutes, so we'll spend another next 45 minutes. So we're going to talk something called a finite state machine, and then we'll talk about important Verilog concept, right? So I'm not prepared well, so I'll try and do my best, and yeah, we'll make it very interactive. Somewhere if I don't know something, then probably we'll come back and I'll answer them in the next class. So what is a FSM? Finite state machine. So have all of you read in your college called finite state machine? I hope yes. Maybe except Yogesh, everyone should know. Ishwar, do you know what is a finite state machine? Did you study? You may not. You would have forgot. That's okay. Did you study or you didn't study? Ishwar doesn't remember. Sriram, do you remember? Sriram.
He has left just now, sir.
He left. Okay. So what about others?
We
Let
have.
me not ask Pavan. Pavan, you may be knowing, so let me skip Pavan. Let me ask other guys. Balaji, Bhunesh, Shankar Narayanan.
Sir, no idea about, sir.
No idea. Very good. Okay. So that means I know I'll start from the basics. Okay. So Yogesh also will understand. Yeah. So I'll start from very basic things. So from there, let's take it forward. Okay. So you all know what is a sequential element, right? You all know what is a sequential circuit now, correct? You all went through what is a combination logic and sequential logic. Okay. So finite state machine it's a circuit. It's not a machine. Means don't think it's a machine like road roller or some computer or something. Machine is anything, right? What is a machine? Go to your dictionary and see. Machine is something which does something automatic. It makes things simple, right? Road roller is one. So give me some examples for a machine. What is a machine? Laptop. Laptop is a machine. Very good. Your phone is a machine. Give me non-electronic example. So some other example. Your coffee maker at home. If you have a coffee maker, right, that's a machine. You put the coffee powder and hot water, now you get the decoction, right? Washing machine. Yeah, washing machine. ATM is a machine. Very good. Right? ATM is a machine. So that's enough. So machine is something which does things automatically. That should remember. Your brain is the biggest machine, right? So that's a super. Everyone copies from the brain and they implement, right? So brain is the biggest machine created by nature or God.
Yes, sir.
So find states. What is a state? State is something. What is a state? Well, I'm not in a good state of mind to say, right? So what do you mean by that state means what? Today I'm not. I'm in a bad mood. I'm not in a good state of mind. You say that sometimes, right? So what do you mean by that?
Mood, sir.
Pardon?
Behavior mode.
Mood. Okay, behavior. So let's relate that to electronics. I agree, right? The state. What has many meanings? State is not on the place, Karnataka. Let's not talk about that state. You're talking about state, the state of the mind. So what does the state means?
What form it exists in?
What form it exists in? Yeah, really close. At that particular instant, what is the state of the mind means? What is the condition of the mind? What does the mind think? What is it stored in that particular mind? What do you think about it? What is the content of the mind at that time, right? So that's a state, right? So state is a place, it's a memory, sequential. What is the example of sequential element? The basic example.
Counter.
Basic example of sequential element. Counter is made of what?
Flip flop.
Yes. So flip flop is a sequential. Basic example I'm asking, right? Don't tell counter. It's a flip flop or register, right? One flip flop, more than one flip flop. That's a state because it has a memory, correct? Do you agree that flip flop has a memory, correct? Don't think only RAM has a memory. So flip flop is also a type of memory because it stores some data, right? Whatever stores some information, it's called memory. So you can save it, you can retrieve it later on, right? So that's called a state, right? So that's your sequential element. It can store it can store a 1 or a 0. So that's called a state, right? So it can contain a 1 or it can contain a 0. If there are more number of bits, it can contain any values, right? So the contents of that particular element is called a state, right? So read the sequential element change their state on every positive or every negative clock edge. You agree, right? Whenever any either positive edge or negative edge happens, the value of the sequential element or a flip-flop can change, right? So that's called a state. It can go from one state to 0 state, right? And sometimes it can go to unknown state. So they talk about that separate. We are not talking about that today. We are talking about 1 or 0. There's two states. Let's not talk about Z or X. There are two binary states, 1 or 0. That's a state. You know what is a sequential element? You know what is a state? You know what is a machine? You know what is a finite? What is a finite?
Something which can be counted.
Countable.
Some countable, yeah. You know what is finite? You know what is a state? You know what is a machine? Now you tell me what is a FSM? What is a finite state machine?
It's a machine which has finite number of states.
No, don't. I also know that. Don't tell. So tell in a way, in other way, like where let's say you're talking this to LKG kid or a first year. Let's say Yogesh is from the first year. He doesn't know. So you want to explain this to Yogesh. How will you explain? Okay, let's ask this to Pawan. Pawan.
Yes, sir.
So can you explain? Let's say you want to tell Yogesh, he's just he's finished his school and he's just getting into first year. So I told you what is a finite, what is a state, what is a machine. So you want to explain you know about a finite state machine, right? You want to explain that in a minute. How you explain that?
Sir, finite state machine is the machine whose state who is having a constant number of states, where the next state of machine depends on its input, sir.
Very good.
And previous.
No. You're going too technical. I don't want that way. Somebody doesn't know you have to tell. If you tell Yogesh, did you understand that? Let me ask this question, Yogesh.
Sort of understood it.
Sort of understood. Very good. Yeah.
Sir, with one example, I would like to tell.
Tell in the way. Let's say you're talking to a small kid. Like you have a sixth standard.
Suppose if I want to go from my home to nearby shop, I need to walk one step of the other. It will take some number of steps. Suppose 50 steps. That is called finite, sir. So I am a machine. I am having a finite step, 50 steps.
Okay. You know the kind of game, right? I don't know what every regional language has a name, right? You draw a box with a chalk piece on the road and you jump from one place to one box to other box. Right? What is it called in English? Hopscotch. Okay, very good. Thanks, Ishwar. Everyone knows what is a hopscotch, right? Or Pandi in Tamil. Hopscotch,
Yes,
right? So Yogesh, you know what is a hopscotch?
Yep.
Okay, very good, excellent. So you jump from one square to other square and you play a game. So you reach to all the possible squares, right? Yeah, sometimes you jump 2 squares or whatever actually, right? With one leg. So very similar to that. State machine is like that. You jump from one box to other box. See, the box is called a state. You move from one state to other state based on certain conditions, right? So that's a state machine. Your ATM is a state machine. You give an input, you do certain actions. What are the actions? You put your card, debit card, right? It'll ask for a pin, you enter a pin. So that is a condition. If the pin number is correct, it gives another option. Your savings account, current account, whatever, right? If that is correct, you say how much money you want to withdraw, right? You put the money, you get the output, cash. So input is your debit card, and the sequence of steps what you do, your pin number, and you have to enter like what is the cash you want to withdraw. Then you'll get the cash at the end of it. That's which is the output. Okay. So that's an example. That's how the state machine works. So forget about all these things, man. You should understand. This is all theory, right? I don't want to go to theory. You'll get bored. Like how Pawan was explaining. If I explain, you'll fall asleep. No difference between me and the engineering college then actually, right? Now you understand what is the state machine, correct? So state machine has certain states. There are inputs. So based on the current state and the current value of the input, the output will be decided. Sometimes based on the state, the output will be decided. It doesn't based on the input, right? There are two possible ways. Sometimes based on your input and based on the current state, the next state and the output will be decided. Sometimes input will be don't care. Just based on the state and your output will be decided. Okay. So there are two types of state machine and there are names given called Mealy machine and Moore machine. Okay, just you have to remember those things. Maybe somebody who kind of came up with that particular concept, that name. You can go to Wikipedia and see. I don't know why it's called Mealy and Moore. I would think it is somebody's name, or I may be totally wrong. Maybe you figure it out from Wikipedia and help me understand. Maybe this is homework you can try. Why it is called Mealy machine and Moore machine? I have no idea, right? So for science, is there any logical reason or randomly people have chosen, right? M-O-O-R-E, not M-O-R-E, not Moore. Moore machine, it's called Moore. Mealy and Moore. Maybe very likely some scientist's name, I would guess, right? But I don't know, I could be wrong, right? So every synchronous sequential circuit, they are having finite number of states. Your counter is an example for state machine, right? We went through a 4-bit counter, right? Up down counter and modulus n counter in the last class, right? So that's a good example for a state machine. We told about ATM, that's example of state machine, right? So we'll see another example, right? So what is a Mealy and Moore? This is a little bit technical, so let's understand, right? So focus on that. So this you have to remember, there's no other way, right? Mealy machine, the output depends upon the present inputs and present states. Okay, the Moore machine, it depends only on the present states. It's independent of the input. So it's basically like your students. Let's say I go and tell Ishwar, you do this, I give a lot of instructions, a lot of inputs to him, but he doesn't do anything. He just follow his mood and he just keeps playing a game on the phone, right? So that that's based on his present state. He doesn't take my input, right? So he is like a Moore state machine. Okay, he doesn't have any input. He just do what he wants. So some good people, their output based on what they think and what input I give, right? I don't want to tell them. Maybe some of you, right? It could be anybody. So let me not take name to embarrass people. Sorry, Ishwar, just took your name, for example, right? Right? So you take the input, and based on the state, your output will be decided, right? So any good behavior, right? Your parent tell you something, you follow their advice, and you do certain things, certain sequence of steps you do, right? And you get an output. So that's an example for Mealy state machine. Okay? Moore state machine, you just do what you want based on what you think is correct. You don't take any input. You may not get any output also, but that doesn't matter. You're saying some output comes. Or somebody is very independent without telling that guy does everything. Let's talk that way. Let's talk positive, not negative case. One guy, you just give him a hint, he does everything on his own, step by step, tell, I'm done with this. So that's an example for Moore state machine. He doesn't need any input at all. It's like Sachin Tendulkar, right? If you bowl, he'll just hit six. He knows what to do, right? But if you're a talented batting, you have to give him all the coach has to tell him everything. The ball comes, you hold this bat, you go back, so you go to front foot, you defend, this ball comes, you have to give so many inputs, right? So that's an example for Mealy state machine. So Tendulkar or Dhoni are example for a Moore statement. They produce output and they know the states, they do everything on their own, okay? Is that clear concept? You know what is a state machine now? You should never forget this in your life. Will you ever forget?
No, sir.
If you forget, my efforts are waste. I failed in my effort. That's what I would think. right? So you should always remember, even after 4 years, you should remember this, and you should go and tell this to your other friends. That's why you will learn, right? You call up somebody in your class, all of you should do that actually. Talk to your friends and explain this concept in your own way, in your own example. So then it will help you to kind of understand better. Only when you teach. See, I don't prepare. Like no, I'm just talking just out of the scope. I just ask Ishwar, just ask 40 minutes I was preparing his slides. Right, Ishwar? I was so busy this morning, so many phone calls, lot of problems and escalations, whatever it is, right? So anyway, let's not go there, right? And I didn't prepare any examples. I'm just using it based on my experience, whatever it click, I keep talking extempore. I didn't prepare, I have no notes in front of me, right? So you go and tell this to your friend. I want each one of you to go and call your friend, right, before next class and teach them state machine. Spend 5 minutes. Tell them, they make them understand what is a state machine. You will never forget, and that guy also will never forget. There's a chain reaction, right? So that's how it has to work. And this is very, very important. We will do a lot of things based on this state machine for the next 1 year or 2 years, right? So these are very basic fundamentals, right? How your AND gate and NAND gate you'll never forget in your life, right? It's very simple. So you understand this the same. I'm trying to explain a simple way. So if you explain this to others, it will be etched to your memory forever. Okay? Any questions, guys, on this slide? So we are getting to some more details now. Okay, let's see what is a Mealy. So Mealy state machine depends upon the input and past state, and then you get the output, right? So it has an input. Give me a minute. Where is my mouse pointer? Okay, so it has an input, the output, and any state machine will contain a combination of logic and a memory. Memory is a flip-flop. Don't think memory is a RAM, right? Any state machine is a combination of, it will contain two parts. One is a combination of logic, one is a memory. Right? Memory is a flip-flop. Right? So memory will store. So the present state of the memory depends upon the inputs of the combination logic, right? The memory is conditioned, it depends upon the combination logic. Whatever the data value you get, based on that, in the next clock, it's like a feedback. You know what is a feedback, right? If you have studied control system, you understand it's a closed loop and open loop. Do you all know what is a closed loop and open loop? Give me an example, practical example for a closed loop and open loop. Non-engineering example. In your real life, what is a closed loop? What is an open loop?
Closed loop is some circuit, sir.
No man, no engineering, no electronics. In simple language you tell, in day-to-day life, what do you see as an open loop and closed loop?
Closed loop is a bangle, sir, example.
Huh?
Bangle, sir.
Huh?
Bangle, sir.
No, that's not that way. No. Closed loop is when there is some feedback. So let me tell this, right? There are two boys. There is a teacher, right? The teacher is telling the two boys, one boy, look, this is not correct, you have to do like this. So that boy understands the communication, he makes the change and he improves, right? So that's a closed loop. And he gives some, in turn, he goes and gives some feedback to the teacher. He asks some questions, or can it be done differently? We are improving on that, right? That's a closed loop. It's a constant communication. You give some input, you process that, you generate the output and you improve it further on that. That's a closed loop. Think of some good example.
Training and teaching.
Yeah, maybe, yes. Open loop is something, no, you just do it over one unidirection kind of a thing. There's no feedback, right? Yeah, how a teacher, the professor teaches the students, open loop communication, right? When the training is, the Ishwar is very good, I like it, right? You don't tell that to your class professor, they'll kill you, right? So training is a two-way feedback, right? So or one guy talks, other guy simply listen. You go and talk to the wall. That's a one way, right? There's open loop communication, open loop. But two people talk on any subject. You're talking about a movie, or talking about a football match, or a baseball one. That's a closed loop. It's a conversation, right? You tell something, you understand, you ask another question. That's a closed loop, right? So Mealy is a closed loop. You get some inputs, you process that in the memory, store it, retrieve back, and it goes back again, right? So it's based on the present inputs, and it depends on past states also, right? So yeah, I have some idea, but let me not talk about religion. So let me not bring in religion here, right? So it's based on the past states and the present inputs, and you produce the output, right? So it's like you write your arrear exam, for example. Let me give an example. This is an apt example, right? You are writing arrear exam. You told somebody else having arrears, they're writing a mock exam or arrears, whatever it is, right? So you have to study now for the particular exam. Say your math or chemistry, you are studying and you are studying the last semester also. So you have some understanding of that, and now you study it again, then you go and write an exam, right? So you get a past state, that is the previous semester what you studied, and present inputs. You got more input from your friends or your lecturers, right? So that's present inputs. Then you produce the output. You go and write the exam, you pass. So that's an example, right? There's a past state, present input, and you produce the output, right? That's a Mealy state machine. So that's a good example. You can tell to others, right? It's like Arias kind of thing you do, go and do that, right? And the output will be valid only at the negative edge. We all know any sequential element, the output changes only the positive edge of the clock or negative edge of the clock. Mostly 99.9% it's all positive. I don't know why. Maybe it's another question you have to write down. Maybe I'll write down. I have to tell you, right? Why the sequential elements don't use a negative edge? You should ask all these questions, man. Why is the negative edge not used? Right? I don't know. You cannot mix the positive edge and negative edge though, because they'll have the duty cycle problem. You cannot do that. Either you can use a positive edge or negative edge, but negative edge nobody uses. So there must be some reason. I don't know. Yeah, let me figure it out. This may be one of the interview questions. You could also search Wikipedia. I've taken a note. I'll come back to you on that. Right? Why negative edges are not preferred? I don't know. Yeah, let's find out. Right? And the states. So let's look at this example. This is clear, right? Now let's see this. This has 3 states: state A, state B, and state C. Okay. So there are 3 states, and what the arrows are called, it's called transitions. What is a transition in English? What does transition mean? I'm going to one town to another town. So I'm transiting, you'll say, right? I'll go from airport to another airport. From here, I'm going to US. So I have a halt somewhere in in Hong Kong or in London or wherever. Only very few flights fly directly, right? You stop over somewhere. We call it a transition, transit, we call it transit halt. So you have to stop somewhere and then go, right? Transition is going from one place to other place, right? So this is a transition. You're going from one state to other state. That's a transition, right? And something is written 1 bar 0. What is that? So 1 is the input and 0 is the output, right? So let me give an example. Don't read this, right? You are in the state A. So when the reset comes, you come to this state and you are 0 and 0. Your input is 0. You continue to remain the same state and your value of the output is 0. That's what it means. If you get a 1, you go to the state B, but your output still remains 0. Understand? Is that clear? Right? So there are 2 possible transitions. If you get a 0, you remain in the same state. If you get a 1, you go to next state. It's like pass or fail. In your exam, you pass. In school study, you go to next class. Not in the college, right? Even if you fail, you can keep accumulating arrears. In the school, if you fail, you remain in the same class. If you pass, you go to next class. It's similar to that. If you get 0, you fail. You remain in the same class. If you get a 1, you pass. You go to next class. That is next state, right? It can be other way also. In this example, it is this way. It can be like that based on your application, based on your need. If you get a 1, you stay in the same state. If you get a 0, you go to next state. It can be done that way. Just based on what your needs are. So here, see here, exactly the same thing, right? I didn't see this. If you get a 1, you stay in the same state here and your value is 0, output is 0. And if you get a 0, your output is 0, it's going to next state C. And in this state, if you get a 1, you come back to B and output goes to 1, right? In this state, you get a 0, you go to here, right? So every state has 2 transitions, okay? And the output, so it has input value, the output value. So is that clear? Hello, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yogesh?
Yep.
You're clear?
Yes.
Yep.
Very good, okay. Okay, so this is one example I'm showing, right? So very simple example for a state machine. You can visualize the ATM, right? I told you, right? The same way. You can draw bubbles. There's an input, there's an output. Output comes only in the end. When you get the money, that's your output. All other things are input, right? So why don't you draw a state with a homework? Draw a state machine for an ATM. I'm sure all of you operated ATM, right? So draw a state machine for an ATM. You can use any number of states as you wish. 2 states, 3 states, 4 states. Right? So draw a state diagram for an ATM machine functionality. You know what are the inputs, what are the outputs, right? So that's a homework. Right? So ATM FSM, this is the first homework, right? So second homework, you will have to write a Verilog code for that. I'll teach you, right? Verilog for Mealy FSM. I'll show you an example. Right, I'll show you. So you'll have to write a Verilog code for this one, Mealy state machine. Right? Right? So now you don't know, but after I teach, you will understand. So you'll have to write a Verilog code for this, the second homework. So let's see what is a Morse state machine. What is the difference between this? So there's a feedback. It was coming from the combination logic here directly, right? Let's understand the difference. Here the output is coming from the memory. And there is a feedback here also. The input. Only difference, the output was coming from the combination logic previously, right? Correct? That's what, what do they say? Output will be valid on the output. What does it say in general? Well, it doesn't say anything. The output comes from the combination logic. Here the output comes from the register, right? And this is another example. Same way, A, B, C, D. See, the output are coming from here, from the state. Do you understand? In the previous, what happened? The outputs are based on the inputs, the output change. Based on the state and based on the input, the output changes. Correct? Agree? And in Morse state machine, the input changes, but the output value is just based on your state value. Agree? That's what I told, right? When I give instructor Ishwar, he doesn't listen, he does what he wants to do. Right? So it's just based on his inputs or don't care. Whatever I tell, he doesn't care. Right? So that way. So Morse state machine depends upon what is the content of memory. And based on the input, yeah, it will go to different states. Maybe I give some input, I kind of scold him, he'll go to bad state. That's one example. He goes, or if I kind of happily give him gifts, then probably he'll come to good state, right? So like that, right? But still he'll do what he wants to do. Right? That's a good example. If you scold him, no use. Give him so many gifts, no use. So that's like a Morse state machine. Okay? So I'll not read all this theory. You can go and read the slides on your own, man. I don't want to bore you, right? So this is an example for a Morse state machine. Is it clear? So I want one of you to summarize what is a Mealy state, Mealy and Moore. So who wants to summarize? Let one person tell about Mealy state machine, one tell about Morse state machine. Who wants to go first? Shankar Narayanan.
Yes, sir.
What is a Mealy state machine?
The more state is the output remains the same and the input varies, sir. More.
No, not correct. The output, based on the input, you make the state change, but the output value depends upon the state value. Okay, that's what, see this example, right? What we are doing here. And that the output is coming directly from the state. It's not coming from the combinational input. Okay, the output depends upon the state. And based on the input, it keeps changing. But the output value will not change based directly. It will not change directly, but indirectly, right? The input changes, you'll go to some state, but your output value depends upon the state. See this diagram, right? Output is coming from the state directly. Agree?
Yes,
right?
Sir.
Mealy state machine. So the output basically is a factor of the state and factor of the inputs. That's what he said here, right? It's based on the present inputs and past states to produce the output. I told about the arrears exam. You study from what you learned last year. You have arrear, but you study now. You use the previous input, you put the current input, then you decide the output, right? So that's an example for Mealy state machine. Most state machine is just based on the state value, the output will be decided. Okay? Go through my notes. Probably next class we'll discuss again. It may not be straightforward. It may look easy, but you'll forget, right? So I want you to go and read. So let's discuss in the next class. Okay, this is very, very important. What is encoding? So you all know what is encoding. I thought in the first class, right? What is encoding? So who wants to tell what is encoding?
Encoding means you're changing something in a secret language.
Very good. Okay. Yeah, you are changing from one form to other form. I told you about H264, the video standard, right? It codes. You have a raw video. You're taking with the camera. It will take huge memory, but the advantage, it will save space. That's all I told you, right? It codes the data in some different formats, so you can compress. It's like WinZip. I told you example, right? Encoding. So it changes the format. It's like a password kind of a thing, and it converts one for other form, but it also compresses in that format. Correct? That's called encoding. So the state, you have to give names to the state machine, right? So that's called encoding style. And typically there are 4 or 5 commonly used. So binary encoding. So every state, if you have 9 states, how many flip-flops you will need? You need 3 flip-flops. Agreed? If you have 9 states in your state machine, you are designing a state machine with 9 states. Minimum how many flip-flops you will need?
Sir, 4 I think.
4, sorry, 4. 4 is to 8 is 4. 4. You need 4 flip-flops, right? Minimum you need 3 flip-flops will not work. You need 4, and you can have more than 4 also. You can have 9 flip-flops also. I'll tell you that why, right? So minimum you need 4 flip-flops, right? So that's what he's saying, right? So this is for 8. He's assuming there are 8 states. Then you code them as 000, 001, 010, so on. It's a binary. Correct? You go till 1111, 3 ones. This is called binary encoding. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
There's something called gray encoding. What is a gray? Right? So it's basically 000, 001, 011. So 1 bit only will change in a time, but probably I'll write in the screen. I think you should write everything because this is a very hi-fi presentation. I didn't put in different. So I'll write 000. So remember the rule. Now you have to tell only 1 bit can change to one at a time. So that's right. Only 1 bit can change at a time, right? So 00. So first value will be 001. What is the next value? 0, 1, 1. What is the next one?
1 1.
0, 1,
0.
0, 1, 0. What is the next value?
110.
1, 1, 0. After that?
100.
Very good. After that?
Next one will be 101.
Okay.
111.
Very good. All 8 conditions are covered. 1, 2, 3.
We are in combination.
Very good. Right? So this is the called gray. Right? There are certain advantages. We'll talk about it. So gray, 1 bit only changes at a time. That's called gray encoding. Right? And 1 hot. What is 1 hot? Only 1 bit will change at a time. Let me give you an example. Same way. Right? 001. 010. 100. That's all. Only 3 coding. Right? If you take 4 bits, 000. Only 1 bit can be active at a time. 1 hot. Hot is what? Active. Only 1 bit can be active at a time. That's called 1 hot. Gray is basically 1 bit can only change at a time. And 1 cold is there. 1 cold is just opposite of 1 hot. Only 1 bit can be 0 at a time. Okay? So there are 4. One is a binary, simple encoding, you all know. Gray encoding, only 1 bit can change at a time. Right? 1 hot, only 1 bit can be active at a time, but 2 bits change. Right? Remember, in 1 hot encoding 2 bits change, but only 1 bit is active. 1 cold is just reverse of 1 hot. Right? So when you code the states, you'll have to use one of those encoding techniques, and each one has a benefit. Right? Probably I'll try and tell. Gray encoding, I don't remember. I need to go and see. I forgot. I'll take an action. I'll come back and tell you. Or you can also search. Gray encoding. Gray encode. I'll write down. Benefits. Right? I'll tell you what the gray encode benefits. I think we'll run out of time. Let me come back. So 1 hot encoding is it's very fast because you don't have to decode anything. Only 1 put is active at a time, right? Your output depends on it's like your Mealy state machine or more, whatever you call, right? What do you call more? It's like a more state machine, right? But the problem is that if you have 9 states, you need 9 flip-flops, correct? Agreed? In this case, there are 4 states. You need 4 flip-flops, right? But if you write in the binary, you need only 2 flip-flops. So what is the advantage and disadvantage between binary and the 1 hot?
Binary advantage will take lesser space.
Very good. Lesser number of flip-flops.
Disadvantage is
Now what is the advantage for 1 hot?
1 hot advantage is much easier to decode.
Much easier to decode. So what happens? What is the benefit?
Your time will be lesser.
Yes, very good. Excellent. What does it mean? Time is less means what?
Speed is more.
Excellent, Ishwar. Very good. Guys, you understand what is Ishwar? Ishwar, I'm glad that you are telling all these things. So remember, this is very, very important concept. I'll tell you, when I was in IIT Kanpur, I did an interview in one of the companies. I think you forgot the name. It's some company. I'm not able to recollect. I think Texas Instruments, I suppose. Yeah, I think I had a campus interview. They asked the same question, me and one of my friends. he answered correctly and I didn't answer correctly. Maybe I didn't get the job. That's a different reason. Whatever, I don't know why they didn't select that. Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe I should tell about that interview, right? Maybe I'll talk. Remember, I'll talk about the TA interview. Right? It's very interesting. I'll write down. So you'll also understand. So take notes when you tell something, right? It will be very interesting. Anecdotes will be there. I'll come back to that, right? So 1 hot encoding is only 1 bit changes a time. So it has more area, right? And it's faster. Why it is faster? There's no combination logic needed to decode, right? So your output depends upon the flip-flop directly, and you just go from one flop to other flop. There's not to decode to decide what is the next state, right? So it is very fast. Agreed? So your circuit is working at certain speed, but it's not meeting your customer's requirement. The customer says, I want state machine to work at 500 megahertz, but your design is something it works at 300 megahertz. So you're using binary encoding. How do you increase the speed? You make to 1 hot. You take more area, but it'll run faster. Your clock speed will increase. Because your performance, everything is based on the clock speed, right? In sequential circuit, because anything you do in the chip design, it's mostly all sequential circuits. Nobody uses asynchronous logic. No, forget about it. Everything is synchronous, not synchronous. Everything is synchronous design. So always there is a clock to refer. Only that special applications that use asynchronous. So we'll not even talk about asynchronous. Maybe I'll tell in one of the class about asynchronous at the end. Okay. So everything you do is all synchronous designs. Very easy to implement. This is the time and everything. So 1 hot benefit, it takes more area, but it's extremely faster compared to other thing. Gray encoding, maybe I forgot. Maybe it will not get glitches or something because only 1 bit changes, right? In binary encoding, there can be glitches. The 2 bits change, right? You can get glitches when you decode. In gray encoding, you will probably not get glitches. That's what I'm thinking. Right, but let me go back and I'll do a comparative study in the next class. I'll do a comparison table, right? Must be available, right? I'll put up a comparison table and put in the slide for next class.
Okay,
right?
sure.
Okay. So 1 cold is like 1 hot, that is also faster, right? Okay, coming back to the Texas Instruments interview, right? So there are 2 things. One was this question asked, your circuit is running at some speed. How do you speed it up? Right, I had no clue. I don't know what I told. It's 28 years, 25 years at least actually, right? 93 I graduated, so it must be 27 years. Right, I forgot, right? But the other guy, one of my other friend, his name is Sandeep. I think Ishwar knows him very well, right? So he answered correctly, and he also didn't get the job. That's a different story, right? Or he got the job, he didn't want to go to Bangalore. Whatever, I forgot. You can ask him. He's from Delhi, right? He doesn't want to go all the way to Bangalore, leaving his family, right? So maybe he got the job, I forgot. Yeah. So he answered correctly. He said, yeah, you add more flip-flops, you can increase the speed, right? So if there are 9 states, you can have 4 flip-flops, 4 flip-flops, you can have 5, you can have 6, you can 7, you can go to 9. So right, you can have 4 flip-flops, you can go to 9 flip-flops. Based on the speed, you can use it. Okay? So 9 flip-flops is much higher, faster. 4 flip-flops is much slower. You cannot use 3 flip-flops. 10 use it will be redundant. Why do you want to use 10 flip-flops? Right? They'll be redundant, right? So that's how you increase the speed of any circuit. There's a trade. You always in engineering, right? There are trade-offs. Something you do, you'll get an advantage. Something will be a disadvantage. Will be there. So you have to always apply the trade-off and use what is needed of the R. Right? What for that project? What do you need? Then pick up the right approach. Okay. The other question the TA guy asked, I'm forgetting. What's that? Okay, he asked this. Okay, I was working on CMOS modeling. You all know what is a CMOS, right? So I was using SPICE and I published a paper in the journal also. If you're interested, it's basically modeling of a transistor. What is the sub-threshold region, how the current works and all these things actually, right? So, yeah, I have a copy of the paper somewhere, right? I can fish it out. So my professor name was Dr. Alok Datta. He was from Louisiana State University. I think I should talk about that guy. Not guy, he's a respectable man. Maybe I think I also should, like Arun, I should do my maybe I'll do in one of the week, man. I'll tell about my background. I think briefly I told one of the lectures, but not in detail, right? He's a very tough taskmaster, this professor. He'll always keep scolding me to get best out of me. Whatever I do, say he's not happy. He'll keep pushing, right? I used to get frustrated, but finally he'll tell I pushed because only you do. What you did is very good. And then last day, I would leave the campus, that's what he told. Hari, you have done fantastic job. I want you to get a good result. Always say, I'm not happy, I'm not do this. He'll never appreciate anything. Right? That kind of a professor. Later on, he became a good friend of mine. His name is Alok Datta. He's Bengali. Right? I'll talk about some of the interesting incidents in my college life, right? Maybe I'll not talk of 50 years like Arun, but I'll probably I'll try and do some slides and I'll do it very soon. I need to find time. That's all, right? So the project was in a MOS, kind of simulations kind of thing, modeling simulations, something. So that interview guy from the Texas, he asked me, will you be interested in circuit simulation? Right? I told him, I could have told him yes, but I told him no, but I'm working more at transistor level. I'm interested in the modeling. I'm more interested in the modeling than in the circuit simulation. That's what I told him. He was looking for a circuit simulation position. I didn't even ask him what is the position for. They're not that clever. Those days we are not. People are very clever today, right? He asked 1,000 questions, right? I'm not clever, so I told no, I'm not interested in that. But I'm more interested in this. Whatever I'm doing, that's what I told him, right? So then I didn't get an offer letter. Right? Other guys got an offer. One of the big companies. Right? Anyway, it doesn't matter, right? I'm telling. So you need to be having some person. When you answer the interview questions, you have to be very careful. Because that guy he's expecting some answer. That's what he's asking, right? Because he's probably hiring you for that job. Let's say you are applying for a cricket, for Indian cricket team, you're applying. Or to advertising, like I want a batsman. But he's not well advertised like that. I'm selecting a team player, he's saying, but he has a position for a batsman open. He's interviewing 10 people, right? He's coming husband. He asks you, what is your name? Where are you from? What do you have experience? Would you like to bat? He asked. He said, no, I'm a wicket keeper. If you go and tell, will you get the position? No, right? He will not hire you unless you are a wicket keeper batsman, right? So that way, right, you need to understand. You have to ask more questions and try and understand what he wants. Then you answer accordingly. So interviews will be a little tricky, right? You need to prepare appropriately, right? There's something called behavioral interview, right? Typically we do that. You ask some indirect questions to understand what is the attitude of the person. So you have to ask different questions in different angles to understand his attitude and behavior and everything. You can go to YouTube and search called behavioral interview, right? I'll be teaching all these things to you in a period of year, right? From now, right? How to answer questions, how do you understand, right? There are some personal questions, how will you answer them, right? Okay, let's move on. Okay, I think we have to spend some time. Give me a minute. Okay, this is very serious. I think we are going to spend 15 minutes at least on this. So even if it gets late, I don't mind, right? I think we had some fun time in the beginning. I spoke about some non-related things also, right? Not class. So let's spend additional 10 minutes more. Right? Arbiter. Right? So let's not go inside. What is the arbiter in English? Forget about engineering. What does the arbiter mean?
It revolves around something.
Orbit, that is different. Arbiter.
Arbiter, something which is not constant.
No. Let's say, okay, Ram Janmabhoomi, let's talk that, right? Today morning I heard that they're going to do a puja for Ram Janmabhoomi next week on 5th of August. That's what I heard. I have no idea, but this is what I heard from a friend of mine this morning, right? So Ram Janmabhoomi, there was a lot of fight for so many years. I think I should tell you, when I was in a Kanpur, they did the Demolition Masjid in 1992 or 1991, I don't know, whatever year, right? I was in the campus, I got stuck, right? And I'll tell you some stories when I was going through how difficult situation was there. I was in the same state, within a few kilometers, 300, 200 kilometers from the place that was doing all the demolition, actually, right? So tense moment sitting inside the campus, but campus was peaceful, but we didn't get any good food to eat. We had to use some stale bread and those kind of things for some time, right? So nevertheless, arbiter is the one, if they're trying to, how did they resolve? They say they have some common man, right? For example, Sri Ravi Shankar, he was trying to arbitrate between Muslims and Hindus. The Supreme Court did say, you go and talk to the people, try to come with an acceptable solution. And that's what won directly, right? He came, Muslims get another land somewhere, they'll give you something, they'll give space to construct mosque, but this place has to give it to Hindus, right? That's what it is, right? So the Supreme Court didn't do any ruling. So they appointed a
mediator. Right?
Mediator, exactly. So yeah, they appointed an arbiter, this guy talks to all the people, then comes to a conclusion, right? You basically address all the people request, and then you come with a common solution, right? So similarly here, what does the arbiter do? There are 2 requests and 2 grants. You have a resource, right? Let's say I'm there as a parent, I have 2 kids. At the same time, both of them come and tell, like one case will come and you play with me, other case come and let's go out, right? Both of them, you have to listen only to me. Both of them fight, right? It happens sometimes, right? We have 2 kids, a parent comes, the 2 children go and tell you have to listen to me, But what the father does, poor guy actually, right? Or it's like, look at typical mother-in-law and the wife problem actually, right? Whom do you listen? You listen to the husband listens to mother or he listens to wife, right? It's like that, right? It's very difficult, right? I think you all relate that problem. You're all senior enough, right? You're not a kid now, right? Probably you would have seen that in so many movies or like serials, right? Right? I don't think about Yogesh whether he knows it or not, but typically every household in India you have this problem, right? The wife and mother, the husband gets sandwiched doing that actually, right? It happens in 99% of the houses. It happens. It's very normal. So I'm not saying that is abnormal. It's normal, right? So it had to be who has to get the, let's say, let me not go to like mother-in-law, daughter-in-law problem. Right? We go to the kids. Two kids say, one kid, let's say we are going out. The father says, okay, one kid says I'm going to movie, other kid says they are going to beach. I'm giving an example, right? So what does the father do? You tell me what is in this case? If you are a father, what will you do?
You do what?
You cannot
You
do
have to
both.
give precedence.
Yes, very good. You can accept only one request at a time. Then you tell boss, today I'll go to beach. Next week you'll go to like the mall because there's a shutdown, lockdown time. You can go to beach, but you cannot go to mall. Right? I'm giving you an example, right? So same way. So you have multiple requests. Only one thing can be done at a time. So you do something called some logic. There are different arbitration techniques. Then you address that and then you grant the request, the resource to that particular person, right? So that's what. Let's see here. What is written here? Pointer options, this is a pointer, right? So it does two request input, two grant. You know what is a request, what is a grant? That's the same example, right? Kids are coming request, going to beach and going to movie. Father can grant, like only one he can grant. So it has two grants, only one of the requests will be honored. So when request 0 is asserted, grant 0 is asserted. When request is 1 is asserted, grant 1 is asserted. When both are asserted, grant 0 is asserted because high priority. It's given to request 0 over the request 1. But if I give a high priority to my son, my daughter will come and crib. Or the other way, this guy will go upset actually, right? But in this electronics, that doesn't happen. There's no emotions in electronics, right? That you design that arbitration that way. So you define the rule. Maybe father defines, like in the first week, going out every week we are going. So then he defines, first week we are going to movie, second week we are going to the beach. When he defines the policies, then he arbitrates, right? So that way, right? So grant here there's no priority, but in the kids you cannot set the priority, right? You may have priority internally, but you cannot tell who is high priority. You will get killed actually if you do that actually, right? This is electronics, so you assign a priority. That's okay. So higher priority is given to request 0 or the request 1. So both are coming. So rec 0 will be granted first, then the rec 1. Okay. Is the problem statement clear to everyone? Sridham, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So who else? Bhuvanesh?
Yes, sir.
Yogesh?
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. So if you understand this thoroughly, let's look at the state machine, right? So this is the same. So if you reset, it comes to the idle state. See, when the reset is applied, it comes to idle state, right? When request 0 is asserted, the pink path, request 0 gets 1, it goes to grant 0 state, and it remains there till the request 0 is active, it remains in the same state. When the request 0, not of request 0, when the request 0 goes down to 0, it comes back to idle, right? If it is 1, it goes there. As long as it is 1, you stay in the same state. Then the request 0 becomes 0, you come back to the state, to idle state again. And you stay there. Right? When the request 1 is asserted, you go there. To grant 1 state, till that is 1, you stay there. Then it goes 0, not of request 1, right? When it goes 0, you come to the state. Right? Understand? When both are asserted at the same time, this gets a high precedence. Request 0 contest, this is processed, comes back, then it goes to this loop, it processes that, comes back. Is the state machine clear? Right? Is it clear? I'm going to show you the Verilog code now. If you don't understand this, no way you'll follow my Verilog code. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, so let's keep, so remember the state names, idle, grant 0, grant 1. So request 0 is input, request 1 is input. Okay? So you have to visualize that. So see for a couple of minutes. Look at the pink color. They are all different colors. Look at the green, blue. Look at the orange. Look at the pink. So keep these colors in your mind. It's easy to visualize, right? So pink is grant 0 state, orange is idle, and blue is grant 1, right? Remember. Or look at the traffic like signal, right? Red, orange, green kind of thing, right? Red, orange, and green. So maybe think like that way, right? Some colors. Okay. So let me go to this example. So it'll be very interesting. If you understand, it's very interesting. It's like mathematics, right? Okay. Can you see my screen? pretty big. Okay, I didn't code. I copied it from some website, right? So don't worry, right? That is, hope you. Let's go line by line. These are all comments. Okay, ignore the comments for now, right? So it has what are the inputs? So what are the inputs the FSM had? It has a clock. Clock is not shown there, but you should have a clock because sequential circuit, right? As a clock, you saw a reset. You saw request 0 and request 1, and you saw grant 0, grant 2, grant 1, two outputs, right? So that's what is written, right? Clock, reset, request 0, request 1, 4 inputs, 2 outputs, right? So here, I told you this last class, active high and sync reset. Shankar, do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Last week you asked me this question, right? What is active high and sync reset? You understood that, right?
Yes, sir.
So now,
Yes,
that's
sir.
what exactly this guy is doing. Active. So this reset, when you say active high sync reset, let's see how he codes. So inputs, 4 inputs, output ports. You know what is a port? I told you what is a port, right? Input or output, the internal signals are not a port. Which is going to external world, that is called a port. So the 2 outputs, and wire is internal ports. Internal is the 4 and 4 wires. Register, yeah, probably we'll talk about register. Next class, probably I'll break the suspense. What is a reg? I'll tell you. Right? I think today I'll not find time to talk about it. Next class I'll talk about reg. Right? So size parameter. I told you what is the parameter, right? In the last class. Remember what is the parameter? It's like a constant. I told you the counter. Use a parameter. You can change the parameter. You can change the width of the counter, right? It's like a constant. It's a soft constant. So size is 3. And see, this is encoding. The 3 states, right? Counter has the 3 states. See, first state is encoding 001, 010, then 100, right? So it's giving three codes. What coding is this? This is binary encoding, right? 001, 010, or is 1 hot? This is 1 hot. What encoding is this?
1 hot encoding.
Guys, what is encoding followed here?
Gray code.
Not gray, 1 hot. Only 1 bit is active.
Multiple bits are changing, but there's only one.
1 bit is active at a time. It's called 1 hot. Okay? In 1 hot condition, 00 is not valid because one bit has to be active at a time, right? So that's the reason value is putting 001. I was wondering why it is 001. It's a 1 hot encoding. Agree? Right? So idle is this value, grant is this value, and grant 1 is this value. Okay? So he's defining state and next state. This is a sequential part, this is a combinational part. You saw, right? In the state machine, there are 2 parts, right? You saw combination logic and sequential logic. I told two parts. So here, there are 2 parts. This is state, is a sequential part. Next state is a combinational part. Agree? Next state is a combinational, state is a sequential. Okay, always add state or reg 0 or reg 1. Right? So here's the conditions, right? So you say state is the input, reg 0 is the input, reg 1 is the input. What does it do? Begin. So don't ask me how we code. You'll understand. When you code, you'll understand. So based on this, you have to code a state machine, what is stored in the diagram actually, right? You're going to code the state machine on your own, then you'll understand. Use this as a template and do the other one. Right? We'll spend one more class on the state machines. I'll not be jumping because it's an important aspect. I'll show you 2-3 more examples. You try that. If you don't get it, it's fine. But I'll show 3-4 more examples in the next class. Right? Let's not even talk about others meanwhile, right? So case is idle. So reg 0, you can look at this your orange state, right? Idle state, you saw, right? Orange, pink and blue, right? It's orange. So request 0 is 1. You go to next state. What do? You're going to next state is what? Grant 0, the purple state, not pink state, right? Correct? So next state is a combination logic. Remember that, right? So you assign that to combination logic. Else if request 1 comes, it goes to grant 1 state. Otherwise, you remain the idle state, right? And see the priority. Is the priority built in here? Or who has the priority here?
Reg 0 has the priority,
Yes.
highest priority.
Yeah. In case both are 1 here, what will happen?
Reg 0 is given highest
1.
priority.
So it will not enter this loop because when it will execute that, it will go to grant 0 state. It will not even come to grant 1. Next round it comes, then it will go to grant 1. Right? So you write if then else statement, you write down in a notebook. If you have a notebook, write down. Maybe I'll write down somewhere. I'll also put as what is the design concept. If, then, else, we write. So that's like a priority mux. Right? In Verilog code, if you write if, then, else. If, else if, and else. If you code that way, you are inferring a priority mux. So first statement has the highest priority over the second statement. If some condition, else if some condition, else if some condition, then else. Right? You have 4 conditions, right? The first condition has the highest priority. Second condition has second priority, third priority, then the last priority. Right? This is called what is called priority mux. Right? All of you write down. It's very, very important thing. I'll try and summarize in a slide later on. Right? But you should remember these are all important concepts. So did you all understand what is the priority mux? Friends? Yogesh?
Not really.
Not clear? Okay, let me repeat again, right? So, you know what is a if else? You know C language, right, Yogesh? Do you know C?
I know.
Program, you know,
I
any
know
programming
I know
language?
Python. Yeah.
Python, okay. So I'm sure Python will have a if, then, and else, right?
Yes.
Okay. So then you can also have if, else if, and then else, right? So what we do is the first if, so that has the highest priority, right? The second if what you write, that's the second priority. So this statement here, right? So this has the highest priority here. What happens when the request 0 and request 1 both are high? So first request 1 is high, then it go to grant 0 state. And it will not even execute this particular state. It will not even come here in the first round. It will just skip it. When the next time it comes, when the request 0, assuming this is not 1, then only this guy will get serviced. Right? It's like an elevator, right? Now elevator you go, 2 people press the different buttons. Yeah, whoever press first will go there. The elevator is designed that way, right? I'm just saying. But elevator will actually go to what is the bottommost floor, they'll go to the top floor. But sometimes badly designed, whoever press first, maybe elevator is a bad example then actually, right? Maybe I should tell some other example. What example should I give?
Example for what?
When 2 people give the input, only one is active, right? The same
It's like when someone you know and when someone you don't know approach you at the same time.
Yeah, whatever. It's like a movie and like a beach example I gave you, right? Very similar to that. So as long, yeah, that's not even that actually, right? So yeah, let's say I like there are 2 kids, right? The kid 1 and kid 2. If I like only the kid 1 more, I don't like the kid 2. No, that's not the case, but I'm telling, right? So always I'll tell whatever kid 1 says, I'll only listen to him, right? Or what is the perception? Kid 2 thinks that way, right? Kid 2 thinks the kid 1, you always think you to listen to him, right? So like that, right? If the request, as long as the request 0 is active, so only that will keep service. The other requests will kept ignored always. Right? So that's a priority, right? And this is a multiplexer. You all know what is a multiplexer. This is a mux actually, right? If you draw a circuit for this, it will be like a multiplexer, right? And this will be like enable signal and this will be output, right? So whichever is coming first, so that has a priority. This is a priority encoded mux, it's called. So does that help you, Yogesh?
Okay. Now I understand.
Okay. So it's a combination of mux and a priority. Okay. Okay. So,
Okay.
so I'm not teaching you syntax. I think, by the way, see here, you are learning a new concept here called case. Right? So we didn't see up to this called case. Now we are seeing something called a case. I don't know if you noticed or not. Right? Case is similar to any other programming language, right? So, but case is like, no, yeah, I think I should talk about that later on. I'll probably next class I'll going to talk more on the case, right? So the case will not have priority. It will be like all parallel, execute parallel. There is no priority to the case. Typically, there is no priority to the case. But if you write if then else, there is a priority. So you should remember, right? Because you have to. It's not a programming language. I tell you, right? You are designing the hardware, right? And sometimes in hardware you have to give priority. Sometimes you have to do it in parallel. You have to give equal priority to all the people. Sometimes, right? Sometimes you have to give priority to somebody. So based on that, you either use a case statement or a if then else statement, right? So that's how you pick. So if you want certain actions to happen in parallel with equal or not in parallel with equal priority, right? Then use a case statement. Sometimes you have to use a higher priority to something else, then use a if statement, then else statement. Okay? So that's how you pick. So here I want equal priority for all the branches. You put idle, grant 0 and grant 1. All right? So should I stop or is it boring? Is too much? You guys is overloaded or is it okay to continue for 5 more minutes? Should we break here? That's your wish.
So you
Hello?
can, sir.
Pardon what?
You can, sir. You can, sir. You can continue, sir.
But anyone, let's ask from others. Is anyone feel we have to stop? I'll be willing to stop. Feel free, man. It's not a classroom. We're all friends. You have to understand at the end of it, right? It's overloaded. It cannot continue. We'll stop and we'll continue in the next class. So anyone think it's too much to digest? Ishwar, what about you?
Okay.
You're okay? Yogesh, you're okay?
Yeah, you can continue.
Yeah, let's spend 5 more minutes, not more than. Anyway, I'll break because I'm running out of time anyway. I'll just do only 5 minutes, right? So this state you understand, right? Same as I think we should keep the diagram also and see. Or you visualize, right? Request 0 is 1, you go to next state. Or if the request 1 comes, you go to the grant 1 state. Otherwise, you stay in the idle state. See here, right? Request 0 is 1, you come to grant 0 state. If request 1 comes, you go to request 1 state. Otherwise, you stay in the idle state. Right? What happened? Yeah, okay, you got it here, right? So that's what is this one, right? So what happens? Let's say, assume you took this condition, you came to grant 0. So as long as request 0 is 1, you stay in the same state. Your next state is only grant 0. Or else, no phones issue, please. Or if the request is not 1, it is going to 0, you go back to idle state. Correct? If the request 0 is 1, you go to grant 0. Otherwise, you go to idle. Let's see here, right? What happens? You do here, if request, as long as request 0 is high, you remain in the state. If it's going to 0, you come back to idle state. Correct? That's what is this. So let's look at the grant 1 case. If the request is 1, you stay in the same state. Otherwise, you go to idle state. Right? Grant 1 state. From the idle, request 1 comes, you go to grant. As long as it is 1, stay in the grant. If request 1 goes low, you go to idle state. Right? So you understand the case statement now, correct? And look at this, there's one keyword called default. So it's saying default is idle state. So why we have to put the default? What do you mean by default?
If you don't get any input at all.
No, that's very close. That's not correct. Let me tell. If
maybe
so, how many bit is the state? Let me ask you this. How many bit is the state?
single bit.
No, state is 3 bits. State is 3 bit, right? Size is 3. What is the size value? What is size? Size is 3. So this 2 down to 0, right? It's 3 bits. So if it's 3 bits, how many conditions you can have? 8 conditions. But how many conditions are specified here? 3 conditions. So what about other 5 conditions? I know you'll not get there, but when you reset the state machine, when it powers, even before reset, it powers on. It's also like it'll be behind random values, right? When you switch on the computer, all junk things happens initially. You see X, right? Sometimes right before reset in your waveform. So it can have any value. That X is in simulation. In real life, it can have any value. It can be 0, it can be 1. So when you power up, immediately it starts. When you switch on the VDD, right? You apply 5-volt signal to your logic, your chip. This flip-flops can come up in any state. So when this case statement gets executed, it doesn't know what to do. So if you don't specify, else it will go and stuck somewhere. Some unknown state. So you specify if none of these 3 conditions, because you have 8 possible combinations possible. Remaining 5 combinations, you go and default, that is default, you be in the idle. So irrespective of if this anything of 3 inputs are not happening, you stay in the idle. But even if some junk value comes, no, you are safe, you will be in the idle state. Is it clear? Bhuvanesh, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
The default.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Somebody doesn't understand, please ask. You have learned what is the case. You have learned what is the default, right? Two keywords you will learn today. Okay, this is thread machine. Then see, let's see what happens. This is a sequential part of it. This is FSM combo. See here, he has given a label. This is also another new thing, right? We didn't see, we just have begin previously, right? So you can always write the keyword begin, colon, and then followed by some keyword. That's like a label for that, right? You're giving alias or you spell something, right? You're giving a name. So it's easy to read. When you debug the simulation tool, probably I'll show you, or you can write a comment also if you want. So he's saying it's a combinational part of the FSM, right? And this is a sequential part of the FSM, right? What is it? If reset state, it's given the idle state. Otherwise, next state go to the state. This is a combinational part. Right? The combinational part goes to the state, right? See here. One of these things, right? You are assigning this next state, right? So what is the output here? Let's see. Let's understand it's milli or more machine. Let's see how it is. Huh? Okay. So the result is 1. Both the grands are zeros. Forget about this hash one. Ignore it. We'll talk in the next class. Right? Here for some simulation purpose. So there is something called delta delay. I think write down. Probably I'll have to tell you what is called delta delay. Right? I'm going to talk about this called delta delay in the next 1 to 2 class. So I'm writing it down. Right? So just to remind myself, I'm going to talk something called delta delay. Right? So let's talk about that later. So this is 0 in the ideal state. The grand value both are zeros. In grand 0 state, grand 0 is 1. Grand 1 state, grand 1 is 1. Default both are 0. Right? So what machine is this? This is a milli or more. Which state machine is this? Mean state machine or more state machine? This is a more, right? The output depends upon only on the state. It doesn't depend upon any input here. Correct? For output, this is output, right? Output depends upon the state. It doesn't depend upon the input. Correct? So it is called,
Yes, sir.
it's called a more state machine. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Let's stop here. Let's stop. I think the test bench and simulation we'll see in the next class. I'll show you more examples. We'll take some example and we'll see how to design a state machine. Right? For now, exam homework is you have to draw ATM state machine. Right? What is ATM state machine? And I told you one more thing else, right? I think that's all I told. Only one example. And I told you to write a state machine code for the. You don't have to simulate. Just write the Verilog code for the milli state machine example. On the slides, okay?
Okay, sir.
You don't have to run simulation. Just write the code and show it to me. That's all. No need to run simulation. Just type it out. If you want, you can compile. Make sure it compiles. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Don't code the test, but same way you code. Make sure that it compiles. Then you send me the file. The same link. Test bench part we'll see later.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Any questions, guys? So, okay, what we'll do is the guys who miss this class, they'll find it very tough in the next class. So I want you to go and talk to them and help. Right? So Ishwar, you have to explain to both Girish and Sriram. None of you are well, so only you are there actually, right? Nobody else in this class. Right? So Vishnu who will explain. So who wants to help with Vishnu? Balaji? Balaji?
Sir?
Hello? Balaji, can you help Vishnu to come to speed about what we learned in this class?
Yes, sir.
Attempt. It's okay, attempt. So Ishwari also attempt with both of them. Right? Raja also, you have one class, you explain them. Because they'll find it very difficult in the next class. They can see the video, or then you also walk through the video with them. Right? Outside, I think you walk through that with them. You find it very difficult. If you miss one class, next class will be very difficult, and I'll not have time to repeat. If you have any questions, I can answer. But at this point of time, unfortunately, I don't have time to do repeat class. There's so much of work I need to do. At least for next 1 week, it's terribly busy. Till end of next week, I'm going to be very busy. Okay? Okay, thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Today's
Thank
what?
you.
Thursday. So Saturday at 5 p.m. Balaji is at
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
so Saturday at 5 p.m. India time, we are meeting.
Okay.
And Sunday, probably okay? We'll decide
Okay.
let's not bother. Saturday 5 p.m. we are meeting.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
We'll go.